So my question to the panel today is, do you believe that Allah could have a son if he wanted?
Why does he need to have a son?
I didn't say he needs to. I asked if he can, if he wanted to.
I'm asking a question in return. Can you please answer that?
I did. I said, I didn't say he needed one, and I don't think he needs one. I'm asking, could he if he wanted to?
And what do you mean by the term son?
In any sense.
So please describe to me.
Any
What do you mean by
whether
the term son?
adopted, whether of his own nature, whatever.
So the Islamic position is in the past it could have been used. Just like, do you guys not believe in abrogation?
No. So
you guys don't believe in abrogation?
No, you're saying that Allah could have had a son in the past?
Yes, it's possible.
What do you mean by son?
Whoa, any sense?
Any sense?
Oh, okay. Tell us the senses you're referring to. Are you talking about
anything adopt? I don't think he's
metaphorical. Metaphorical.
In the Quran, Allah says
any
in
sense.
chapter 39, verse 4. If Allah had intended to take a son, he could have chosen from what he created, whatever he willed. Exalted is he is Allah, the one, the prevailing. Oh, that's end of story.
Yeah.
So he could have a son if he wanted to.
But in the past, so this is the position of some of the ulama, like for instance, Ibn Taymiyyah says that this could have been used in the past. This could have been used in the past, but that does not take you outside of the bounds of Islam. You believe in abrogation. Hosea 2:16 says what? There was a name, the Lord, Baal, that was used in the past, yes or no, by Israel. And God says you're not supposed to use that name anymore. From now on, you're supposed to refer to me as my husband. Do you believe in abrogation? Yes or no?
Yeah, but where does so hold on.
I have a question. Engage.
I'm trying.
My man.
You're pressing, but I'm trying to. You're cutting me off
yes.
already. Can I respond?
So I asked a question. Do you believe in abrogation?
Am I able
yes
to respond to you? Am I able to respond?
You're not responding. You're waffling.
You cut me off the moment I spoke.
Give him an opportunity to respond. We've invited him here.
Go ahead.
So give him an opportunity to respond.
Thank you. So pointing to something that Israel was calling God is different from pointing to something where God himself applies a title to himself and allows that himself. So what you're pointing to is where God is addressing a title that Israel was calling them. I have no problem. Let me end the point. I have no problem with what you're saying, that if God, God allowed them to call him something one time, but then say, you no longer call me this, you call me this now. I have no problem with that. Okay. Can you show me that example in Islam where Allah says that, yes, he was a father one time, but then now he's not?
Okay.
I don't have to.
First of
all, you don't have
to.
Okay.
First and foremost, the ayah.
Why is that funny?
Because he brought this example, trying to allude that there's evidence of so-called abrogation, that this gives evidence that, once God was allowed this, this was allowed, this was permissible one time, but now it's not.
No, so I did not say that. I said it could have been
the Bible.
Avery, comprehension, please.
I think you're not comprehending
what did I say? No.
Okay.
You're strawmanning my position.
All right, go ahead. Say it again.
Okay. I said it could have been used. Doesn't mean it must have been used. Okay. Even if it were used, it would not take you outside the bounds of Islam. Just as a Muslim, we believe, I don't know if you heard when we were engaging with the previous callers, right? Okay. So now who's interrupting?
No, I just got here. I didn't hear what happened before.
Oh, okay. All right.
Bro, it doesn't matter about interruption.
Yeah. Okay. So when we were talking about the crucifixion, as Muslims today, we cannot affirm that crucifixion happened. We deny it. But in the first, like right before the advent of Islam, in those 570 or 600 years or so, if you actually believe that Jesus died or was crucified, it would not take you outside of the bounds of Islam.
Got you.
That is the Islamic position.
I got you. So what you're saying is that once upon a time, it may have been that Allah allowed for people to refer to him as father, that he truly was their father in some correct sense, right? But then now in the event of Islam, he abrogates that and says no more, maybe due to people misinterpreting that, misusing that. And so he cancels that out. Okay. So when you say that may have been the case, where are you getting it from? What's your evidence that it may have been that Allah was okay with calling himself Father back in the day.
Again, it's like talking to a wall, man. What did I say?
You said it
I
may
said
have
it
been.
could have been used.
Yeah, what's your evidence?
It's not affirmed because we have our scholars telling us, just like how I gave you the example of the crucifixion.
So there's no
That
evidence.
it would not take you outside of the bounds of Islam. We believe in abrogation, just as you believe in abrogation. Do you not believe that Jesus came and he abrogated dietary laws? Do you not believe that he abrogated sacrificial laws?
When there's abrogation, for example, means that you have a ruling that existed, and then a ruling comes later and gives you the new updated ruling on this topic, right?
You can extend this to so many things.
Wait. I got you. So my question is, Fawad, do you have anything that says that back then there was a ruling where Allah was a no? Okay, so thank you.
And I don't need to have it.
Well, you
That's
do.
the
Wait,
question.
one second. Let me just understand something. I'm trying to understand your argument, mate. All right. So are you saying because Allah isn't referred to as Father, then he can't be the God of the New Testament?
No.
Is that what you're saying? That's not what you're saying. Okay. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm curious to see where you're going to.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
You said a lot of stuff, and I don't.
Actually,
It's a lot of vague and ambiguous.
I want to understand the point.
Yeah, I got you. So
Good man.
okay, so I asked. This actually wasn't my point.
Yeah, we know what you asked. We're trying to
So I-
understand why.
Yeah, so I was asking whether or not Allah, if he wanted to, could he have a son?
Yeah, and
Now,
Yemeni
Fawad-
brought you the verse.
Fawad
One second, bro. 1 second. Yemeni answered you with the Quran. Allah said he could if he
I
wanted.
want to know what he understood from that. I wanna know what-
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Okay, so
Yemeni
we're
gave you the
leaving
response.
Fawad's point.
So Yemeni give you a response
Okay.
from the Quran where
All right.
Allah says. So how do you understand that verse?
All right,
That's
so
okay.
it looks like that Allah, if he wanted to, he can have a son.
Right.
No.
So you understand it that way.
That's what it says.
Oh.
Right. Okay. So does that answer your question?
Well, Yemeni looks like he
Does
just
that answer your question?
Yemeni looks like he disagrees with my understanding. Like,
Does it answer your question though?
I think it does, but
So
Yemeni.
your question was, could Allah have a son?
if he wanted.
Allah says, and then Allah give you a verse in the Quran and said he could, but khalas. All right. So
Yeah.
that answers your question, yeah?
I had a follow up with that, but
That's fine.
Yemeni,
That's fine. But
it
you
looks
understand
like
that?
Yemeni disagrees.
Read the whole verse. What does it say at the end of the verse? Read the end of the verse. What does it say at the end of the verse?
So stop pouncing off your comment section and answer the question, mate. What are you doing?
Well, I thought y'all was reading it. I thought Yemeni
We're
had the
asking
verse.
you. We're asking you.
He's telling you.
Well, Yemeni brought the verse up. I thought he had it.
So pull it up. Do some respect. Give the man some respect if he did it for. If he gave you the reference.
Yeah,
pull it
you're
up.
right. Look, if y'all wanted me to read, I have no problem. That's all we do. over
Yeah,
here.
let's read it. Read.
Okay, goodness gracious. All y'all had to do was say, "Hey, man, can you read the verse?" I got you.
We did like 6 times, man.
I got you. All right, so 39-4. All right, so 39-4. Let's go ahead and bring this up. All we do is read around here, man. All right, so he says, if Allah had intended to take a son, he could have chosen from what he creates, whatever he willed. Exalted is he. He is Allah, the one, the prevailing.
What does that tell you?
What? Nothing. Telling me that he can have a son if he wanted.
No, it doesn't.
All right. So
It
what
says
is he supposed to tell me?
The opposite.
Oh, so according to this, he can't have a son if he wanted.
It's a sarcastic comment to those.
It's a form of rhetoric. You should be a master at it. You know what I'm saying?
I am a rhetorical.
Okay, so why is this
What
one
is actually
stumping you? Are you getting
I am a
stumped
rhetorical
again?
master. I'm a rhetorical monster, mate.
No.
Okay, so why are you getting so stumped? Is it because Islam just?
What are you
stumps
talking
all
about?
around?
Stumped? I think that you guys were stumped by your own verse.
It's a perfect form of rhetoric.
All right, so let's calm it down, guys. Does this verse say that Allah can have a son if he wanted?
Avery.
Is it a form of sarcastic
One second,
rhetoric?
Maurice.
It's not sarcastic. It's
Just let
hypothetical.
Yemeni deal with it. Just let Yemeni deal with it. 1 second.
Yeah, let Yemeni.
It is a rhetorical comment, okay, to address people like yourselves who ask these sort of questions. In fact, there is another verse in the same in Surah Al-Zukhruf, chapter 43, verse 81, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Say, O Prophet, if the most compassionate, if the most merciful really had offspring, I would be the first worshipper." So that if Allah really had a son,
Mhm.
then it would be obligatory upon the Rasul ﷺ to worship the son,
Right.
right? Because Allah would have a son.
Right.
So this is actually in terms of looking at the Quran, tafsir al-Quran, the Quran, this is a direct correlation with the previous verse, showing that Allah does not have sons. If he willed to, he could have, but the problem, the point here is he never willed to in the first place.
Right.
Hence the low kana, okay, low. Low arad Allahu. Yeah, this word low is conditional,
Mhm.
but at the end of the verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, huwa Allahu al-wahidul qahhar,
Mhm.
and it says subhanahu, okay, this is making it very clear that Allah has never willed to
Right.
have a son.
I got you. I got you. So I understand that, right? The Quran is very clear that Allah never willed to have a son. He didn't have a son, right? But my question wasn't about whether he wills to.
Has never willed to
Right.
have a son.
I got you. I got you. So I understand that, right? The Quran is very clear that Allah never willed to have a son. He didn't have a son, right? But my question wasn't about whether he wills to or not. Okay. My question was about his ability. Could he? Right. And so you brought up a good example where he hypothetically says, tells Muhammad, say, if, right, it's hypothetical. If Allah were to have a son, say you will be the first to worship him, right? If Allah had a son, he'd be worthy of worship. That's a hypothetical. It's a true statement within the hypothetical. So same here, we have another hypothetical scenario. He says, if Allah wanted to, he could have a son. He would have taken from any of his creation had he willed, right? So if he wanted to, he could have had a son. That's a hypothetical. So that's why this is my understanding. So my understanding based on this verse, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if Allah wanted to, in the hypothetical, if he wanted to, he could have a son if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to, never did, and so he doesn't. Is that correct?
Yeah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you the hypothetical that you are giving, right? And then squashing it in the same verse, right? So your hypothetical doesn't mean anything.
Okay, I got you. So Allah can have a son if he wanted to. Now, here's my follow-up question with this.
No. What kind of, okay. The thing is, you asked in what sense, okay? So Allah, even subhanAllah, even in the Quran, Allah will never give you what you want, right? Even when it comes to the hypothetical, it is never given as a begotten son of God, right? It is a son from creation, not something else, right? And you cannot say to us as Muslims that Jesus was just creation, right? So even in this Allah gave, he doesn't even give you the satisfaction of including Jesus within this hypothetical.
Can you please have him? Can you please, Avery? Would you please go to chapter 19 and it's verses 91 through 93?
You're familiar with those verses. It doesn't befit him to say that he has a son, causes the earth and universe to rupture, and
right.
He can only be a slave to Allah.
So here's the issue, dude. You're trying to lay these like what I would consider syntaxical booby traps, and they're really just silly. Right?
What do you mean? I'm just asking questions based on Allah.
You're asking questions that go completely against the knowledge and narrative of what the Quran is telling you comprehensively. You're asking a half truth and a whole lie. Yeah, because when you say something like, "Oh, could he do this?" and the answer is within the Quran, right? That it's not befitting for you to even ask that question.
Wait. Okay, tell me where in the Quran does it say it's not befitting for me to ask this?
Bro, you can ask whatever you want to ask.
But you just said it's not befitting.
It's not befitting for him to take a son, is what I'm telling you.
You told me that based on the Quran, it's not for permissible or befitting that I even ask this question. Where did the Quran say that?
No, that's not what I said. I said that it is not befitting for him to take a son. Alhamdulillah, and by the mercy of Allah, he is showcasing your stupidity and just your embarrassment that you're bringing to the table here. Yeah. We're not going to look at things from your worldview, and you're trying to link the Quran.
I don't have anything to do with my worldview here.
You understood why he just said what he said because you knew the verse.
Yeah, I
Allah's
did.
already responded. So your question is like, we know that you know the answer to the questions you're asking.
Can I tell you why I asked it?
Yes.
Okay, the reason why I asked.
Please do. That's why I asked you about 10
The
minutes
whole
ago.
time.
Let me be real. Let me be real with you guys.
You really?
I honestly, and this isn't me like bragging about myself. I know the Quran more than anybody on this panel. You know what I'm saying? I know the Quran, and so what I'm saying is that whenever I talk to a Muslim,
Oh,
I get different. I get different.
Is that why you misquoted the Quran?
Give me
We're
2
not
seconds.
interested in the waffle.
Respectfully.
Dude,
I'm
we're not
glad
you
interested in
guys
the waffle.
spoken.
We're
I
not
didn't
interested.
interrupt.
We're not
Please,
interested. I don't care
2
about
seconds.
interruption.
I
Okay.
didn't
We're
interrupt.
not interested in
Let-
your rhetoric.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just giving
Tell us
you
the
a
point. We're
answer.
not. You think you know more Quran than
I'm
anyone
try-
on this
I'm
panel.
trying to tell you.
Okay. All right.
That's-
Whenever I ask,
that's
we're
I
not
get
interested in
different
that.
answers from the Muslims. So I have to.
Okay.
I need to be
No, you
fair.
don't need to.
Listen, I need to be fair
No, you
to your
don't need to.
position before I argue
No,
something
no,
you
no,
don't
no,
hold
no,
to.
no. I'll say it again to you.
Mm.
You can make whatever claim you want. We don't mind. Your audience might fall for that. We don't care. Okay. We're
It's
not
not
going to
me
bite
that
on
says
that.
it, Muslims
We're not going to
that
bite
say
on it either. Just tell us your point.
Okay, so can I ask my follow-up question?
Before
Yes.
you answer, just answer this real
Look,
quickly.
every time
Real
I'm getting ready to, Hamza, somebody jump
Real
in.
quickly.
What do you want?
Avery, real quick,
This is
real
your
quick,
your show, Hamza. I'm following you, man.
real
Yeah, welcome
quick,
to the
real
arena.
quick, bud. He made a claim. He says that he knows the Quran more than anybody on this panel,
Yeah.
right?
Don't bite on
Avery,
Maurice.
how
Maurice,
much-
don't bite
how
on
much
that. Don't
Arabic
bite on
Bite
that.
on it, Maurice. Bite on it.
Maurice, don't
Bite.
bite on that. Leave that.
No, please. It's
No, man,
easy.
we got a clear
Just leave
rookie on the
it.
show. We got a
It's
clear
easy,
rookie
man.
on the panel. Go ahead and bite on it,
Maurice,
Maurice.
just leave it.
Yes,
Okay.
no
Make the
problem,
point.
no problem. Watch
Bite
him
on
get
it.
smashed by a rookie. So check this out.
Oh,
How much
he's
Arabic do
biting,
you actually
Hamza.
know?
No, Maurice, forget that. It's a red herring.
I
go.
know it's a red herring. But I
Leave it
wanna,
then. Leave the red herring at the door. Leave the logical fallacies at the door.
Sure.
Right. He's
Sure.
going to tell us his point. So he knew the
Yeah,
answer to his question. So now we're trying to understand why he's asking the question. So tell us. Make your point.
All right. So my next question to follow up is, since we know that Allah could have a son if he wanted to, could he do it by himself or would he need help?
Refer to the previous verse.
Is that
That's simple.
a yes, he can have a son by himself, or no, he can't have
See
a
all
son
these
by himself?
presuppositions,
The
assumptions.
thing is, the
syntax.
fact-
I just asked
Fill
him.
in
I
your
asked
own
the
blank.
I asked the question. I didn't ask. I didn't presuppose anything.
That's a loaded question, bro.
How's
That's
it
so
loaded?
loaded as if you just ignored everything we just told you.
So
You're
deal
not-
with the question. Stop complaining about it.
Okay.
The same, that question
Okay. Let's go back to 15 minutes ago. I asked you, what do you mean by son? You said any sense of
Any
the word,
sense.
adopted or whatever. Okay. Could Allah take a son and say, this is my son by himself? Yes.
So he can't have a son by himself.
Yes.
Okay. So the reason why I would
I know why you're asking. Well, Allah says in the Quran, has he taken a consort? We know what you're asking, bro. You think
well let's make sure that we get the verse correctly. The verse says that he's the originator of the heavens and the earth. How can he have a son when he has no mate? Okay. So this is showing that Allah has an inability to have a son without help. How do you guys solve this?
I can't, bro. I mean,
Saying that you can't is not an argument.
No. I just can't, dude.
I really want to hear Fawad. Fawad, what do you have
From
to
your
say, man?
worldview, bro. Even from
I
your worldview.
would
How did
love
the
to
father get a
speak
son
to
without a
you
mate?
if they
How did the
allow
father
me.
get a son without a mate? Please tell me.
Okay,
No,
Maurice,
no,
Maurice, Maurice, all right.
Can God have, just like God cannot have a husband, a wife, a granddaughter, a mother-in-law,
Mhm.
No,
you know,
bro,
he
he
cannot
just
have a
said-
son.
he literally
Because
just
for you to
admitted-
have a son, you have to have a mate.
he
you have
admitted
to have
that Mary
sex.
was God's mate. I
Just
would
like
believe
how
that.
your parents
I would
had
believe
sex,
that, bro.
and that produced you. You
Hold on.
need something carnal behind it.
Absolutely.
Habibi,
So going to Fawad's point, just
Right?
like how, just to Fawad's point, I heard everything you said. Okay. So just like, me, I'm human. I need a mate to have children, right? You guys, we all need mates to have children. Allah uses this logic to refute the humans who are saying that he has children. He uses this logic, applies it to himself to refute the idea that he has a son. Because he has
Because
no mate.
he creates things, just like your first Colossians 15 says that Jesus was the firstborn of all creation.
Mhm.
Okay, he creates things. He does not need to have a son. My question is, why does he need to have a son? You see how you love to sidestep that question? and you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again.
Okay.
No,
I guarantee you're going to do it
Let me
again.
respond to
You're
you
not
now.
going to answer
Hold
that
on,
question.
Listen. Just,
So I'm going to ask you again. Why does he
Go ahead.
need to have a son?
I got you. So Fawad, you asked again, why does Allah need to have a son? And I'm going to repeat what I
Yes.
said earlier, okay? Allah, I'm not saying he needs to. I don't think he needs to.
No.
I didn't say that. So I'm not talking about that. I don't think he needs to have a son. That's not my argument, okay? What I'm showing is that Allah has an inability. He's not self-sufficient in this area because it says, let me just, Landon, I'll give it over to you. He says, how can I have a son when I have no mate? Meaning, in order to have a son, he would be dependent on a mate, and therefore he's not all powerful.
Hello.
Not necessarily.
Oh,
You-
Break it down. How not necessarily? Break it down for what?
okay.
Can God create a stone so big that he cannot lift?
That would
Yes or
be
no?
that's contradictory.
Okay, perfect. Why? So could I not actually say that it's his inability that he cannot create a stone so big?
Yeah, it's impossible for him to contradict himself. That would actually be a flaw if he was able to do that.
Right, but I could say it is his inability because it is a stone so big. He knows his limitations, so he could actually create a stone bigger than him.
Well, actually,
To me, it's an inability.
no. The fact that he can't
Would
do
he
that.
not actually die?
Well, no. The fact that he can't do that shows that he doesn't have an inability because he can't create anything that's too hard for him.
I see it as an inability.
Well, if you want,
Because-
if you want to, that's fine.
because he's not able to do it.
All right. So then, it's an inability of Allah to have a son without a mate, right?
No.
No,
Look, go back to the question I asked you.
I'm right with you.
Is he able to create a stone so big that he cannot lift? Yes
No.
or no?
No.
No, he can't. So he's
No.
unable.
Yeah,
He's not capable.
He's not.
There you
He's
go.
not capable of contradicting himself. Is he capable of having a son without a mate?
He knows his limitations. Yes or no?
Sure.
Okay.
So he's limited. He knows it.
So
he knows
wait,
he's
wait,
limited,
wait,
so
wait,
he
wait,
can't have a
wait.
son without a mate.
So God knows his limitations, and he cannot create a stone bigger than his limitations.
Well, so I'll answer this again.
There you
I'll
go.
answer this again. For what? Him not being
Yeah,
able.
logic.
Hold on. Him not being able to create a stone that he cannot lift shows that he doesn't have an inability by
for us,
nature
that's not
because
an
there's
issue.
nothing he can't do. But if you're saying that, oh, I have no problem with God, showing, knowing his limitations, then you have to say the same thing here. That Allah knows his
For
limitations,
us.
meaning he's limited because he can't have a son without a mate. He's dependent.
I don't see that as a dependency.
Whenever you need something
I-
outside
because-
of yourself to do something, it means you're dependent on that thing, Fawad.
No, because he's appealing to your intellect that for you to have a child, you need a mate.
So that works with Allah. That works with Allah.
No, but why? So if you were to actually generate
Mhm.
something, that will be his creation. That would not be referred to as his son.
Yeah, but what would he? But according to this, he would need a.
Why
mate.
would it? Why would it be referred to as his son? This is my question to you. Because if he creates something,
Mhm.
right? You guys actually also believe that God the Father, he's the Aseh, right?
Mhm.
Yes or no?
That what? I'm sorry.
God the Father is Aseh,
Yep.
correct? So the Holy Spirit, I don't know if you're a Protestant or not, So the Holy Spirit and the Son, they proceed from the Father. Yes or no?
Yep.
You guys refer to them as his son. And we say, and that's what the
Jesus
Quranic
as his
argument is, that using that term son, it wouldn't make sense because that's not how we use son.
I know. I'm not
Right?
even. I'm not applying to you how you use son, bro. I'm
so
talking about his
going back to
ability.
Hamza's question, unless you want to change how language works, so can you describe this term son to us?
No,
Tell us
okay.
the possibilities.
All right, I heard you. So here's my response to everything that you're saying, Fawad. I'm not here disputing that you guys use son or how you use the term. I said any sense here. I said any sense, right? So
Yeah.
we already walked through that. Here we're at the point. Here,
How would it be
this is
a
the point here. Please. The point here is that we see Allah himself using human logic against the humans. He's applying the human logic to himself to refute the idea that he has a son. How? He knows you need a mate to have a son, guys. I don't have a mate, so I can't
What
have a
type
son.
of son, mate? To have what type of son?
But this is
One
this is
second,
the
Fawad.
point.
What type of son? So now we can
son,
get to the
period.
nitty gritty. What type of son
Any son,
you need a mate for?
a son, period.
Do you need a mate for an adopted son?
Not necessarily.
Do you need a mate for
Does Allah make a distinction?
Do you need a mate for a metaphorical son?
Not necessarily.
Right. So we don't say son in any sense, do we? Let's be.
Yeah, you say son in no sense. That's what. That's
No,
my point.
you're talking about son in biological sense.
I don't
really?
believe that God is biological. So I
You're
believe
talking about the son being biological.
no, he can have a son. It does from his own essence.
but you're
It
talking
doesn't-
about
doesn't
son in the
make it
biological
It
Are
doesn't
you
make
talking
it-
about son as an adopted sense?
So I'm talking. So look, if
Okay. Do you need a
for
mate
example,
to have a?
I'm trying to-
One second. Do you need to have a mate to have an adopted son?
no,
Do you need to have a mate to have a metaphorical son?
no,
Right. So what son are we talking about here?
we're talking about a son from that has the same, I guess nature of Allah. Basically,
What?
it comes from Allah. A son that comes from Allah.
A biological son.
Not by Allah is not biological, right?
The son would be.
No, it wouldn't be. It's not. Guys,
It would be a woman.
biology is physical. It's genetic, right?
So
You
what
don't
egg are we
believe that
using?
Allah
Here?
is
What egg are we using here?
okay? Is Allah physical?
What egg are we using?
Please, is Allah
Is it
physical?
a spiritual egg?
Is Allah physical? That's what I'm
Is it a
asking.
spiritual egg?
It-
Well,
this, Hamza, this will help us walk
it's a
through it.
woman giving birth to the son, yeah?
Is Allah physical?
Is it a woman giving birth to the son?
See, this is where you're stuck here, man.
I'm not stuck, mate.
You
You're
are.
stuck. You answer my, well, if you weren't stuck, you would answer my questions.
Well, you're not answering mine.
Okay, so the egg that this
Why does there have
son
to be an
grew up
egg?
in-
What, does Allah need an egg to
Well,
have
how
a
does a
son?
woman give birth without an egg?
Why does it have to be a woman? Why does Allah need a woman to have a son?
But this is the point that
How else can you have a biological son?
There it is. You see there? How else
Yeah.
can you have a biological son? Is
Yeah.
Allah biological?
No, but how else can you have a
But you
biological
said no, right? So if he were to have a
so
son,
it's semantics then, right?
Wait,
Wait.
Fuad, hold
Are
on.
you
a second.
crazy?
Let me go back and forth with Hamza.
Avery.
So Hamza,
I don't know.
Fuad, just 1 second, please. Hamza, you just said that Allah is
Oh
not
my
biological.
God.
So if he's not biological,
You said,
therefore,
okay.
please, his
What do you mean by
son,
biological?
his son won't
What do you
be
mean biological?
biological.
What do you mean biological?
Biological means you have DNA. It's physical. Physical makeup. That's what biology is.
Physical makeup.
Yes.
Okay, so the son we're talking about now is a son of physical makeup, then, yes?
If it's the son, if Allah's physical, then sure. Is Allah physical?
Talk about the son, bro.
I'm talking about Allah. I'm not talking about just the
We're
son.
talking about the son.
talking
The
about
problem is you're
Allah's
trying to
son.
put your Trinitarian flex in it. You
I'm
think the son
talking
is
about
God.
Allah's son.
Would Allah's son be physical?
That's my question to you. That's what I asked.
No, I'm asking you.
Hamza, I think
Lord.
he's sidestepping the question that we've been asking
sorry.
all
I
know I
along.
am.
Why does it?
Sidestepping.
Because look, Avery, please.
Go ahead.
If it is about somebody that proceeds from God,
Mhm.
we refer to that as creation. You can refer to him as son, but then it's just silly
Because how would you
semantics.
differentiate? How would you differentiate a son of
Yes.
God and
So let
normal
me
creation?
let me do what he just said. So you're saying
It's the same question.
that if something or someone proceeded straight from Allah's essence, you wouldn't
Not-
call
why-
that a son. You would call that
Why
creation
does it have to be his essence?
because
Where
that's
did you
what
get
you
that from? Why does
described.
it add that in?
Yeah, where'd you get the essence from?
You said
Nobody mentioned
that from
essence.
Allah- Okay, hold on, guys. Let's make sure we understand each other so we don't talk past each other. So Fuad, when you said if we're thinking of something proceeding from Allah,
Mhm.
when you say proceeding from Allah, that's coming from Allah's essence, right?
No.
Okay, so what do you mean?
Where did I say that?
Okay, so that's what
Proceeding meaning, look, something can proceed from me, right? I actually, as a human being, I have capability of molding things. Allah can mold things and he can create something out of nothing.
Yeah, that's not
Those are two
proceeding
ways
from
that
you,
he creates.
to proceed
Hang on a
from means to
Hang on a second.
Right,
Let me
yeah.
complete.
Yeah.
Those are two ways that he creates. He
Yeah.
can mold something, an existing thing that he can mold it in another shape, right? That's what we humans do. We need ingredients, pre-existing ingredients. We cannot create something out of nothing. He can create something out of nothing. That's how he creates. Just like how he created Adam alayhi salam. He likens the example of Isa alayhi salam to Adam alayhi salam. So there was nothing and then there was something. That's how he created everything in this universe. And we refer to that as creation.
Can I
gotcha.
just make a disclaimer
so-
very quickly? Not
Oh,
about this.
great,
One second.
yeah.
Listen, any of your fanboys and girls who come to my chat and start being toxic in my chat, yeah, will just be banned, just so you know, yeah. So they're not going to get any air. So if you come here and you're supporting Avery in the chat, no problem. Don't start insulting anyone here, or it'll just be see you. Right? Sorry, continue.
Okay. So did you understand what I said? Can you please steel man my argument?
Yeah, I understood what you said, and I'll
No, steel man it, please. I really want to hear.
I'm in the middle of it. Stop interrupting me for a while. Relax. So your argument is basically when you're saying that when something proceeds from God, and this is why I'm saying you're using the wrong terminology. Your position is that God can create anything out of nothing, and everything comes from God in that sense that He creates. He's the creator. He's the source of it. So
Yes.
you see it as Allah's creation, not a son from Him. It doesn't come from His essence, nothing like that. It's His creation. Your position, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So see, we can work together. The reason why I'm saying that you shouldn't use the word proceed is because proceeding it means to come forth from, or it's coming out of. That's what proceeding is. That's when we say the son.
So we're arguing about semantics at this point, then, right?
Right. So let's make sure we get on the same page. Okay? So let's get on the same page. That's why I said let's communicate. Let's get on the same page. All right. So I'm going with you. Okay. Forget proceeding. I'm going with you. Okay. When I'm talking about Allah having a son, can He have a son? Now we already saw that, right? That He could, if He wanted to, of His own creation. So He could have a son. He could create somebody and it be His son. However, this verse says that He can't do that without a mate. So yes, He could if He wanted to, but He would need a mate to do it. So He's not all powerful.
Where does it say He needs a mate?
6101.
Where does it say He needs a mate?
Chapter 6 verse. If I say how can I score?
Where does it say He needs a mate?
Chapter 6 verse 101. I just showed you.
Well, He says He needs one.
Yeah, that's what
He says He can't have a son without having a mate.
He says, how can I have a son without a mate?
So without a mate, there can be no son.
Exactly.
Complete the verse.
Exactly.
SubhanAllah.
All right, Yemeni, come in. You're the man on the Quran. Give him some schooling.
Okay. First and foremost, we already made it very clear that Allah can do it on His own. So this is very clear in Surah Al-Zumar, chapter 39, verse 4. Okay. He could have chosen whatever He willed of His creation. Why? Because He created all things. So what is mentioned, what's going on in Surah Al-An'am in Ayah 101, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He's the originator of the heavens and the earth. How could He have a son when He does not have a companion? And He created all things. Okay, which means exactly the same as chapter 39, verse 4, that He is the one who created, therefore He would choose. Therefore, out of His creation, He would have a mate. Now, is this contradicting what is being mentioned in 39:4? No, because now it's addressing a different types of people who refer to Allah requiring a mate in order to beget a son. That's who is being addressed. So Allah addresses different belief systems throughout the Quran. Okay, so it's not a contradiction, it's just simply addressing another person. Thirdly, you have no idea what proceeding means because your definition of proceeding is not the dictionary definition. The dictionary definition is to begin a cause or action, right? Doesn't have to emanate from within you. Okay, so that's the actual definition of proceeding, not the Christian modification of the word. In terms of this as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, okay, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Badi'u samawati wal ard, okay, him being the originator of all of creation, the heavens and the earth and all of creation, okay, it is making it very clear that He does not need a son nor a mate, okay, nor has He chosen from any of His creation to be a mate or a son. It's that simple. This is the Quranic perspective, and it shuts the door on any hypotheticals you bring forward.
Okay. In response to this, I'm looking at Merriam-Webster's dictionary right here, and the very first definition that comes up, it says to come forth from a source. To come forth from a source, which is exactly what I said. So you were saying that I don't know the dictionary definition. I would return that to you. Maybe you didn't look at it or something. I don't know. But you know, we all make mistakes. So I was not off when I said
no. Wait.
Please,
Stop
I didn't interrupt him. I didn't interrupt.
No.
Please, just let me get
We
my.
will interrupt you.
No. You don't worry about it. You're not going to say something like
let
that
me get my
and then
point out.
premise it.
But
No, no.
he said it. He said what he
No,
had
no,
to
you
say. He
agree-
talked
no, no, no.
trash, and I took it
He
on the
said,
chin.
no, no, no,
You just-
no.
Come
He
on,
said
guys. I
you
can
didn't
take it on
understand
the
the word
chin,
proceeding.
man.
No, you understand.
You just accused him of something, and that is
accused him of
not
He
true.
accused
So
me
he's
of the
got a chance
same
to defend
thing.
himself.
What's
He's got a
wrong
chance
with
to
that?
defend himself, mate. You can't just say, "Oh, well, actually, I was right all along." So sorry, Yemeni, you
Well,
were wrong.
so,
And let me
so
carry
why was
on.
he able to
No, no.
monologue when he said that about me, Hamza?
Oh, okay. He said it about you.
Uh-huh.
You responded with a Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Yes.
Right on my turn to
Right.
speak.
Right. Khalas. Now he's going to respond.
Wait, no, he had a whole monologue. Let me talk.
Shut up! You haven't shut up for the past 10 minutes.
I literally shut up for the past 10 minutes. Yemeni had a whole
Okay,
monologue. man.
Yemeni's been silent the whole time.
And he just
told him-
gave, look, I
I
know
told
it.
him to address your point.
Goodness
In that,
gracious,
in,
this is
in that
amazing.
response, he spoke about you not understanding the word proceeding. So when you
Yes.
spoke, right. So when you spoke, you responded to that first claim, yeah?
Yes,
So
and
now
I
we're
was
going
going to
to
address,
see whether or not.
address the other.
Now we're going to see whether or not what you've just said is
Wait,
true.
why couldn't I stop him when he mentioned that? Why couldn't I stop him? Y'all made sure that I was quiet while he got it off. But now he can interrupt me on my the
Because he's
first
been
thing I said.
silent the whole time. That's why. Anyway, Yemeni, would you like
This
to
is
respond?
crazy, man. Let me land my point. This ain't fair.
Okay,
But
so
before Yemeni responds, can you,
No,
Hamza?
let him
can you-
respond.
here's another thing.
All
How
right.
many of you guys are going to speak before I
I
can
just,
land?
want Yemeni to respond to the proceeding thing, please.
This is amazing.
So when I was talking about his definition of proceeding, I was talking about the Christian modification of the term, okay, which means to emanate from within God. That is not the dictionary definition. When your definition from Merriam-Webster is not contrary to what I've said, to come from a source does not necessitate emanating from within God, right? That those two things are not the same.
Got it. So the reason why I would say that you're incorrect here is because I read the dictionary definition, proceeding to come forth from a source. And listen to the example they give. The example they give is strange sounds proceeded from the room. Where are the sounds coming out of? The room. So this is how I'm using the word proceeding, which is why I'm saying if you guys are using the word proceed, you guys either you don't understand it or you need to stop using it. Okay. So
Okay, does it say anywhere in
Please,
that
I
dictionary
don't
that you're
wanna get hung
reading
up on this.
that it has to be the same essence?
I don't wanna-
Yes or no?
I don't want to get
Does
hung
it
up.
say it's the same essence?
Well,
Yes or no?
we could go deal with that after I make my point here.
Okay,
So-
can
so my
you
point
please
here,
answer this
Fawad,
question?
respectfully.
It's a quick
Respectfully,
yes or
Fawad,
no.
so that I could get my point across. Thank you. So, in light of what you were talking about, you said this is not a contradiction between 39:4 and 6:101. This is what you guys are missing, and especially you, Yemeni. The verse in 39:4 says, if Allah wanted to have a son, he could. He could choose from any of his creation. He could do that, right? That's what he could do. 6:101 says, but he needs a mate to do it. How can he have a son when he has no mate? So if you put two and two together, now
Bro,
I don't think that these.
I'm sorry,
I
dude.
don't
I can't
think these
stay quiet
two verses
anymore. You just
contradict. Hold on, let me
added
land my
stuff to
point.
the Quran. You
Let me
just
land it.
added
Let me
stuff
land
to
it,
the
Maurice.
Quran, bro.
I don't
You're
think that
committing,
these two
like,
verses contradict. I don't.
dude, you're
I don't
supposed to
think
use your
these two
own
verses
Quran knowledge,
contradict.
dude. Your
Look at
Arabic
the
is
panic.
zero, man.
Look at the panic. Look at the panic.
What panic, dude?
Relax
I'm tired
and
of
let
you
me
saying
finish what I'm
lies,
saying.
man. I'm tired
So-
of you saying lies.
So
You
like I
just proved
said, I'm gonna continue.
Quran.
Like I said, I'm gonna continue.
Panic was your
Well, I
boy
don't-
David
I don't
Wood.
think-
At a
I don't
17-year-old,
think-
put him in his place, and he had to read the
don't
Quran.
think-
That was panic.
I don't think that those two verses contradict, Yemeni, because I don't think they're saying the same exact thing in the same sense. So they're both addressing the same topic that Allah can have a son. Yes. However,
He didn't say they
However-
contradict.
no, I didn't say that those two contradict.
No, you said Yemeni said they contradict. He didn't. say
No,
that.
no, I didn't. I said Yemeni is saying they don't contradict. I'm saying I agree. I don't think they contradict. That's what I'm saying. I don't
Why are you
think they
saying that?
contradict.
Why are you
They're
saying
not
that then?
contradictory.
Why are
Because
you saying
he thinks that I'm coming from a point as if they do. I don't.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Well,
I'll
I
tell
don't
you
need
why.
I don't need you to tell me why. Let me finish
I
my
didn't
plane.
tell you why. I didn't need to tell you why.
Let me
Because-
land my plane, please, man.
No,
This is
no,
getting
it's-
crazy. There's four of you guys. You guys shouldn't have a problem with me.
Oh,
landing my
stop with your
plane.
mock outrage, man. Shut up.
No,
No, I appreciate it.
the
So,
reason is
so like I
because-
said, so I don't think that they contradict. 39:4, he can have a son if he wanted to. He could choose from any of his creation. However, 6:101, adding to this theme, says that he would need a mate to do it. How can he have a son when he has no mate? It's similar to me saying, how can I plant a tree if I have no land? According
if
to the
it's-
statement,
Oh,
I need
okay.
land to plant the tree. So
Let's put it-
Allah, according to
Right.
the statement, needs a
All right.
mate to have a son.
All All right. Let's say God chose to have a son. How would he do it?
He would need a mate.
How would he do it?
He would get a mate according to the Quran.
Oh, okay. So
No.
there need to be more than one God, yeah?
According to the Quran, I guess.
Right.
No.
So how many gods are there?
According to the Quran, it depends on what your Quran shows. I don't know.
No. Forget that now. We're trying to establish the position now. So if God was to have a son, how would he do it?
He would have a mate according to your Quran.
No, according to you.
No, according to your Quran, he would have a mate.
No, we're asking you.
I'm asking
No,
you.
no, you guys need to deal with this. Don't
No, I'm
ask
asking
me.
you.
My
No, I'm asking
opinion,
you.
guys. My opinion
you.
and my belief does not matter.
I'm asking you. I'm
talking
asking you.
about
How
the Quran.
if God was to have a son,
Mhm.
okay, what would it necessitate? Would you-
According to your Quran, it would
no,
necessitate.
according to you.
It would
According to you.
necessitate a mate according to your
According
Quran.
to you.
Stop running from your Quran.
According to you.
My opinion don't matter.
Well, I'm asking for your opinion.
Well, I'm not. I'm only giving you. Look, I'm
You're not
Quran.
going to give
Only.
me your opinion.
I'm Quran only.
We don't really care what you think about the
I'm
Quran.
original Quran only, baby.
So
Original
run,
Quran
run,
only.
yeah, run from the question.
Yeah,
Run from
I'm
the
gonna run
question.
from. I'm gonna run to the
Run from the
Quran.
question.
Look at me running
Not
to
one
the Quran.
question did you answer.
Me running to the Quran. is
Not
me running.
one question has been answered.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
let me just ask him something, please.
So according to your
Avery,
Quran,
why-
it would necessitate a mate for God to
Avery,
have a
why
son.
do
Refute
you
it. Refute your
stop
Quran.
reading? Why do you stop? We don't need to. It refutes you in the same ayat that you brought forth, bro.
Okay.
Since you're an expert in the Quran, explain to me when it says subhana, what does it mean right there after when it says, if Allah had intended to take a son, and it carries on, it says subhana. What does that mean?
What does that? What does that have to do with the argument? How does that refute?
Because it debunks your whole
Break
argument.
it down. Tell me how. Tell me how it.
Okay. Because your premise is that it's saying that if he intended to take a son, but when you read the full ayat, it says subhana, which is saying exalted is he of this thought even.
Okay.
You understand now?
How does that
So
refute
your
me?
premise, your whole argument's built on a false premise, bro.
What's my argument, Maurice?
It's built on the false premise that the ayah ends here saying that if he intended to take one, and you're saying can he
No, brother.
But the answer
What's
is
my
right
argument?
there.
What's my argument? You're saying this
The
refutes my
answer
argument.
is right there. Stop ignoring what I'm telling you.
I don't think you know my argument.
You're ignoring. I've been listening to you this.
So what
whole
is it?
time.
Tell me and summarize it. What's my argument?
You
The
haven't got
summary
an
is
argument.
you're saying that in 39:4 that it says, oh, if he intended to take a son, so that means he could take a son because he may have intended to.
I never said I never said anything about his intention. I never said anything like that. See, that's what I'm showing. You've been here this whole time and you missed the argument.
Bro, nobody missed the argument. You keep changing the goalpost.
Look, let me just lay it here. Let me just
What
lay it here.
responses have you- what
My
responses
argument
have
is
you
about
heard?
Allah's ability. That's it. Not his
You're
intelligence. His
You're
ability.
wasting time. It's becoming a waste of time at this
With
point.
undefined hypothetical.
All right. I mean, if this is a waste of time, thank you for having
You
me.
even
We
said,
got you here though, so
before you tail it wrong.
Yeah, you said it's a waste of
I
time.
still haven't had my answer. Sheikh
Well,
Logic.
You did have your answer. I haven't had
No, I
mine.
didn't.
Yeah. So according to your Quran, what would it necessitate for Allah?
I
to have a son?
asked you. So stop running the Quran. I know you Christians
Stop
have
running
no
to the Quran.
sign of your own. You guys
Why
need the Quran.
am I the only
Please
one on the panel
stand up.
running to the Quran?
Please, can you answer the question before running?
Why am I the only one on the panel running
Afterwards,
to the
you can
Quran?
run. Afterwards, you can run with your buddy Sam Shimon.